What's up, guys? Thought I had the intro. Whatever. We keep it rocking. You know what it is. Shady Sports Network, Fantasy Reports. I'm your boy Cedric. Usually it's me and Seany. He's the brains behind the operation, but he's a little busy today, so I'm going to go ahead and jump on. Make sure you guys get some updates because there are some inactives going on this weekend. So I want to make sure we take note of that. And you know what I'm saying? If you jump on and need to switch some players out, put some players in. So if you want to comment, please comment, ask some questions, let me know what you think. Help me roll along. Otherwise, this will probably be a short show today. Like I said, Shawnee's the brains behind the operation. I'm usually just sitting back here smiling, trying to, keep stuff moving. But today, I got you guys. So without further ado, we go jump into it. I'm gonna go ahead and just jump onto the inactives because usually that's what everybody wants to hear. I know I want to know if my starting players out. And it seems like there's been a lot of players that got injured last week. So let me get it pulled up for you guys, and I'll go ahead and jump right into that. All right, so we got our first game starting off: Green Bay Packers, Atlanta Falcons, 11 o'clock my time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'd say the biggest inactive out of that, Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is not expected to play today, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN Sports. So if you were planning on Jones to come in and, scrape you up some points, he crushed it last weekend, you might want to think again. Also, we got Christian Watson, a wide receiver. He's not expected to play either for the Falcons or against the Falcons, according to Adam Schefter. So, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson, wide receiver, running back. You know what I mean? Those are two positions you expect to get major points on. So, if you got those guys in, you might want to start looking for some replacements. Look like we got my boy Shawnee on the backstage right here. I'm gonna go ahead and throw him on. I guess I'm slaughtering it so bad he had to rush to it. But here we go. What up, man?
Good morning, everybody. Happy
Good
Football Sunday.
morning. What up? What up? What up?
What up? Not much. I just hopped on, heard you talking about some injuries going
Just
down.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw we got Christian Watson out, and who else were you talking about? Going to be out today?
Aaron Jones.
Jones is out, and not only him, but Austin Eckler.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get there. Trust me, I was gonna get to that one. And I'll tell you, I don't know about you guys watching us, but I mean, I feel like that's a huge one. Austin Eckler has slowly been, you know what I mean? He's pretty much the number one, number two running back off the board. So that's a
Yeah,
big deal for a lot of players and a lot of points.
for sure. And you know what's crazy, dude? I watched an interview with him because he is such a fantasy football guy, and he's in a bunch of leagues, and he was telling everybody, he's like, I will undoubtedly be the most efficient running back you will draft, and I hate it because I got last pick in my league and I didn't get to pick myself. It was hilarious, but I couldn't believe it. In our league, nobody was quick to jump on Josh Kelly. He was sitting there on the waiver wire for me. So I got him in there. I got him starting this week. And oh my God, he is a lineup lock if he
Do
is
you
available in your league. So if you can get him in place of Eckler, in place of Jones, Joshua Kelly is a great streamer to throw in there. A couple more off the waiver wire you might want to think about grabbing in his place would be, I think that you're going to see, as we did last week, if you have Bijan, he did really well for you for Atlanta, but not a lot of people realize that Tyler Algier outscored him in fantasy because he was getting the goal line work. And that is one committee that is going to get you points. And Tyler Algier is available in a lot of leagues. So if he's there on the wire for you,
pick
they
them
were
up?
both they were both top 7 running backs in week 1. And I anticipate with the volume that these guys get that they're going to do it again week 2. He's another good pickup, for
Speaking of
sure.
that, speaking of that though, I want to go back because I got kind of, I mean, I had Algier in one league and I had Bijan in one league, so I got those points, but I got
Nice.
burnt. I got burnt by Drake London. What do you
Oh
think
my.
about that?
Yeah. I expected so much more. I mean, there was a couple people that ended up like that. What did he end up with? Like 1.9 or oh, he had a zero. Oh my goodness gracious me!
Goose
Oh
egg.
my!
Yeah.
You know, but then you look, and then Calvin Ridley is the one who ends up, scoring 30.
Oh
And
man.
that's why it's so crazy because I did the same thing with Sky Moore. I put him in there thinking, oh man, Kansas City offense. Patrick Mahomes is his quarterback. How can you not? And then he goes and gets me point 0.6. And
Yeah.
that was just like,
Another example of that too. Just Thursday night, AJ Brown,
oh my
DeAndre,
God, yeah, because
AJ Brown and Smith.
Smith 8. And that was the whole thing is that, and then who would have thought that DeAndre Swift was going to get 77% of the carry work. And
Yeah.
I have my opponent that I'm playing has him. And I'm like, oh, I got Alexander Madison. I don't got anything to worry about. Madison ends up with 8.9. Swift ends up with 30. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
No.
I couldn't believe it. But yeah, man, and that's those things that you're talking about. Like week one, you got these guys you draft and these guys you start with this anticipation of, oh man, well their floor, has to be at least 10. It's not going to be 0. And then they get you that goose egg, and then you look week to week, and then you got guys that are rookies like Nakua, and guys who are not rookies but still like that you would expect nothing out of, like Tutu Atwell, and these guys are on the same offense and they're getting 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. So that's that week one stuff that you worry about and that you look and you see, but that's where you course correct. And that's why Jem and I are here, kind of let you know who's streaming and who those guys are, because even in week two, you don't know if Atwell or Nakua are going to have those same weeks, or if all those New England Patriots who had that huge game. It'd be awesome to see consistency in that, like Kendrick Bourne and Boot and all those guys to get big points again. But you just don't know if it's going to happen. So, those are guys you pick up, you stash on the bench, and, maybe you give them a start if you have a feeling, or you wait to get a better sample size in week two. But, there are some good guys on the waiver wire this week for those injuries. And, oh, man, that Aaron Jones, that killed me, bro, because – oh my God, seeing him last week and how well he did, and me having him in multiple leagues as a starter,
Mm-hmm.
and that 26.7, that was such a, oh my God, to have that. You know, I have him and Bijan in our ESPN league, and I played you last week, and it did not matter because you had the Cowboys D. Oh my God, even in a league where I had Tyreek Hill, who scored 44 points in in sleeper, the Dallas D still made it, so
Still
he came out
dominated.
over me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy, and it just goes to show you as well. Like I told Jim, I had a feeling about the Philadelphia defense last week, and they started out very strong. Pick six,
Mm-hmm.
just start the game. They started great, but then all of a sudden, they started to score and score. And I ended up with, I think, 10 or 12 out of them. But still, the Cowboys, geez, I think it was 35 on ESPN, and on Sleeper, because of our scoring format, it was 41 from a defense.
Yeah, those are solid points right there, and that just goes to show too. I mean, it can come from anywhere. People look at like defenses and kickers, and they're like, "Oh, they're not going to give me points," But I mean,
Dude,
last year McPherson, I think he had like 26 points as a kicker, or something like that. So,
dude, Jake Elliott, Cam
oh
Dicker,
yeah,
these guys are scoring, between 12 and 20 weekly for
yeah,
kickers, so, definitely guys to also look at and stream. You got to make up these points somewhere,
yeah,
if some of these guys that you're starting are giving you a goose egg, or, they had a rough week. And, even guys like Jalen Waddle last week only scored 11.8 fantasy points because Tyreek, he took everything. When your quarterback has 466 yards and you think, oh, I have one of his wide receivers, and then you look and he's got 11.8, you think to yourself, what the heck happened here?
Now, what
But,
about that? What do you think about Tua, man? Because they have Anthony Richardson and Tua as must starts this week, and I mean Tua, he did it last year for sure. He was undefeated until he got that first concussion, but
yeah, exactly. That's when the injuries came into play. You know, oh, excuse me. I don't, for me personally, I don't think that their lineup locks for me if you have someone better. If you are in a deep league, or you're in a league where multiple quarterbacks have been taken off the bat, then I think um Tua and Richardson and Jordan Love are good, safe guys to start. Um, and those are three guys that I wanted to talk about, that I think a lot more people are going to start this week than people think. And I mean, we've already seen what they're capable of. Now, we don't know if that's their floor or their ceiling, though. And that's the whole problem, is that you don't know if that's the best they're going to do in a week.
now,
Last week
now
could have been their best.
what if you're sitting there though? I'm not gonna name names, but like, what if you have a team and you got, Josh Allen, and then you got like Anthony Richardson or two on the bench, and you're looking at last week, like, what do you do, man?
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I mean, the one thing you have to have faith in, just like, most of your regular starters, is that, oh my God, excuse me, guys,
It's early,
is
man.
is that they're going to bounce back.
Yep.
And you know what? The crazy thing is that, um, Josh Allen, he might be that guy, thinking, oh my God, all those turnovers last week, everything going on. I'm going to put him on my bench. And then, then you go ahead and start Tua Richardson this week, and they might get you, 18, 19, 20. But then this is the week where Allen gets 32. You know what I mean? I just think that when you have guys like that, where what the ceiling is, that you have to go with your bona fide starters. But I know that in situations where, um, say you drafted Aaron Rodgers, and now you don't have that option anymore, and you got Tua or you got Richardson on your bench, you're firing them up this week for sure. If you don't have the options, like if you got a guy like Allen, if you got Hurts, if you got Mahomes, I mean, I'm even giving Trevor Lawrence a start over Richardson in one of my leagues,
Oh,
just because I think that this week, I just want to keep my faith in who I drafted as my starter. But as we get past week 2 and we start to get a bigger sample size, if we see Richardson stay consistent like this, if we see Jordan Love stay consistent like this, if we see, um, who else did you get? As Tua. If we see
Tua.
Tua, keep doing. I mean, anybody who's throwing over 400 yards a game should be, a starter.
Hmm.
And I mean, it shouldn't be a fluke. I mean, not only does he have Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, I mean, you know, all these guys in the backfield as dual threats, but I mean, he basically did it with Tyreek alone.
Yep.
I mean, Waddle was basically non-existent, and he had all that work. Imagine if they both open up and go off like that, which we've seen in multiple weeks last season. I mean, we've seen weeks where Waddle and Hill have mid 20s to mid 30s each in the
Yep.
same week. So I
I'm
think if I'm
surprised
gonna,
Waddle's not going off right now. But I mean, it's first week, but I'm surprised, Waddle didn't have more points. I
oh my
mean,
God. Yeah, and that was upsetting to me too, because I put a lot of faith in him in a lot of leagues. But dude, that it was the same thing as doing what you did if you had T Higgins. I had T Higgins, in our league, and he got me a goose egg, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been that bad for Waddle, if Hill was eating all that, but Jamar Chase didn't do as well either. The whole Cincinnati offense as a whole struggled last week, and it
I
stinks
think
and it's
Joe Burrow
bumming.
had what, like 84 passing yards?
Yeah, it was horrid. It was
Yeah.
wretched.
So what do you do like in situations like that though? I mean, like say like you're in an 18 league. If you're in an 18 league like us, you know what I mean? Like you kind of do have some options to go to the
Oh
waiver
my
wire.
God, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
go to the waiver wire or do you still stand tight? Because I mean, like I feel like I would try to ride it out another week with my players, and I could hit the waiver wire from my bench. I look and see where
Exactly.
my bench is, but like
Exactly. Yeah. No, like most people will tell you, um, you got to have faith that these guys are going to bounce back because they are, dude. They're superstars, man. And that game was garbage. That it was rainy, crappy conditions. Nobody played well, and then you watch all of a sudden, I don't know, Cleveland start to run it up and have some good luck, but a lot of that had to do with Chubb and the defense playing so well, and you go from there. But yeah, I mean, I like you said, dude, if I have Allen, if I have Joe Burrow. I mean, dude, even Jalen Hurts didn't do well for me in week 1, and I stuck with him week 2, and now look,
mhm.
I'm sitting at 26 points strong from my quarterback. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean that's what I'm saying. Like I think you got to stand tight. Everybody's quick to jump onto the shiny thing, not to, I'm definitely not going to talk down on CU because I'm all about the prime train, but everybody was so quick to jump on, CU's train thinking, in the first 2 games, they're like, oh man, this team's so dominant, that everyone quickly forgot that they were a 1-11 team, last season until last night, and now they're like, wait,
right?
why was it a hard game? And it was like, no, that's how the game should have been. And I feel like that's how we look at these fantasy players. We get locked in like, oh, this player is going to get theirs for sure. And we forget it's an entire game, 2 teams playing each other. And
Yeah,
Thursday night always shows like it's totally different from Sunday nights. They're just trying to get in, get their yards, not get hurt and get out of there. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure, for sure. And you know what? Dude, the Thursday night schedule this season is so dope, and that's why I'm stoked on it because this last Thursday game, I mean, dude, you love a game where fantasy relevance really comes into play, and a lot of Thursday games, a lot of Monday games are like that this season, so that makes for an exciting, because you always got those weeks where Thursday you get your early points in, and then you got those guys on your roster who don't play until Monday, so you can like pretty much watch your opponent play all his players and then be like, all right, well, either I know I'm gonna win or I got to have a miracle saving grace from this guy on Monday night. And last week, I
oh
thought
man,
that
I lost on Monday night, bro.
I thought that was Garrett Wilson for me against you last
Mm,
week, but then boom, Rodgers gets hurt, and I needed 30 points. I needed 31 points to make up from that Dallas defense melee of the New York Giants. And
bro.
when Rodgers got hurt, I just knew. I was like, you know what? I think he can have a decent game, which he really did. He
Oh,
really,
we got
really did.
looks like we got Chris in here, man, on audio.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
What up,
How are
Chris?
you
You got
today?
a squad
I'm
this
okay.
year, bro.
What's that?
I was saying you got a squad this year, bro.
Oh yeah, I've been keeping a close eye at things this year.
Heck yeah. So
I'd
so
say you're definitely your best draft in our league so far over the last couple seasons, man. It was really good to see, and you had a great week 1 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I just kept on picking wide receivers and running backs until all the way until the end.
that was my goal too, to get as many wide receivers and running as many wide receivers, really so much. Not so many running backs on my end.
Yeah,
Dude,
the one.
I've watched a lot of guys who went with that 0 running back strategy, that all wide receiver strategy, and it not work out for them well, and them complaining a lot. But just remember, guys, that it is week 1.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if guys like Waddle and Higgins and a lot of these guys that didn't do well in week 1, You just got to keep your faith in your starters, and you got to go with your gut, and you got to keep with your roster, man. And there are always players on the waiver wire if things don't end up turning themselves around. But have faith in your squad, man. Have faith in your squad for sure.
You gotta have faith. Faith. What you got for us, Chris?
Well, the only thing first of all, this year is definitely running backs are not as deep as they usually are. This is definitely a wide receiver year.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year is definitely different. I like what I'm doing this year. The only question I really have is like, I don't know, is Lamar going to be able to pull it out over other players? Because I mean, last year he was doing like 3 rushing touchdowns a game.
Well, I mean, he's getting Mark Andrews back. I was actually gonna touch on that and see what you thought about that impact, Shawnee. Because I mean, looking at all the guesstimations everywhere, it's not looking like Mark Andrews is gonna provide much. But I think him coming back is gonna impact Lamar's play a lot more because you're gonna have to worry about that guy, instead of just being able to put 8 in the box and stop the run and dare him to throw it to.
Yeah. Not only that, now, with the injury in the backfield, now they
Oh
know
well,
that
yeah.
they got a committee with Hill and Edwards. So they're going to have a game plan going into this week with the team that they have. And with Andrews back and with them knowing that they're going to split work in the backfield, between Edwards and Justice Hill. And I don't know if Hill is injured or not, but I would still stay
I don't
away
think
from
he
that.
is.
I would still stay away from that backfield. But I know the matchup this week going in, and I know that if there is any quarterback that I have faith in that I am still starting this week, dude, it's Lamar Jackson. Any man like that who can get it done with his legs and through the air, it's just we all know what his floor is. We all know that man has an unreal ceiling. Last week I'm gonna use the same example as I did with Jalen Hurts, dude. I was so disappointed in week 1, and then here we go, week 2. Look where we're at, man. He's gonna have. I bet you he gets 1 on his legs, and I bet you he has at least 2 through the air. And I'm gonna say that he's gonna be north of 250 to 275 passing yards today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. I think Lamar has a bounce back week, and I think everybody's going to be real happy with that. And I think Andrews, not just having him, um, for his numbers, dude, when he comes back in, he brings an air of confidence back to that offense because he's not only a great passing tight end, he is a great run block, pass
Mm-hmm.
protection tight end. He's not like, your Albert O's where he just, oh, I'm just a route running guy. I just want to catch the ball. No, dude, he'll put you on your ass. And he protects Lamar. He does good for his quarterback with multiple ranges. And that's one thing that I love about Mark Andrews. And he's going to go out and he's going to have a good game. I don't know if Andrews is going to have, one of his all-star weeks. A lot of that is pretty red zone target dependent. But we know if there's any tight end out there that we drafted that we have, we're starting with that hope. And Lamar as well at quarterback, dude. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
come on. We all know who it is.
Yeah, I guess we saw that with Mahomes too. Not having his tight end, he kind of struggled a little bit. So I'm guessing
Yeah,
both Lamar and Mahomes kind of like missing their tight end as their go-to whenever they get the pressure getting put on them.
for sure. But look at Mahomes. I mean, dude, within the first quarter alone last week, Mahomes already had 7 completions to 7 different receivers. Lamar just doesn't have that range because he's not the same type of passing quarterback that Mahomes is. But even with that, Mahomes still didn't have the best game. And I mean, the guys that we looked for to have those breakout games like Sky Moore and MVS, they didn't have it. And Mike's right in his comments down here. Lamar, I mean, not only does he not have consistency with wide receivers and running backs, he's not consistent on how he scores weekly either. Some weeks he scores by getting all these passing yards and passing touchdowns, and then some weeks he scores by just doing it all himself. He never has one of those games where it's just like he has, you know, 2 rushing scores and 2 rushing touch, and that's how it is weekly. No, sometimes it's like, oh my God, he gets 3 on his legs and he can't get it going through the air, or he has, 4 through the air and can't get it done on the ground.
Do
It's
you think
always a different
you
struggle. It's
you think they
inconsistent.
got a you think they pulled in OBJ as more of a decoy than
Well,
any actual plans to use him?
I think they brought him in with the intent to use him, and then all of a sudden you see this guy, Zay Flowers, just freaking explode onto that offense. And I think
Hmm.
Lamar was like, all right, you know what? Me and this dude got chemistry. I'm going with it. And I think he just stuck with what he knew was going to get it done that day. And I think that OBJ has the potential to be that 10 to 15 point guy, weekly, depending. But I mean, dude, come on. It's like any guy, any team who rosters a guy like that, I think there's always a little bit of that in the back of their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
you
just
hope it works out, but I mean, I feel like they didn't get him for too much, so
no, exactly, and
it's
that's the
not
best
like
part.
yeah. So what about let's jump over to New Jersey, man, because I see Brees Hall, he has a questionable tag on him, but Dalvin Cook didn't do so much, and they're also playing the Dallas defense.
I mean, dude, this is a scary matchup for me because I'm a guy who invested in the Jets this season based on the fact that they were going to have a quarterback, and they have a pretty good defense as well, to be honest. But you know, for me, with Brees being hurt, Dalvin Cook is not a lineup lock for me. The only lineup lock that I have in that game um, is going to be CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, and Tony Pollard. And it's rough, man. It's really rough to have to say that, but that's just the reality of the situation. If you want to start Dak, if you like Dak, you can start him. But I'm just not that guy. I've never put my faith in Dak. He's too inconsistent for me. CeeDee Lamb used to be that way for me, but over the last season and what seemed to be a very good first game, I definitely think that CeeDee Lamb is, I mean, undoubtedly a weekly lineup lock. And even with Zach Wilson throwing the ball to Garrett Wilson, we watched Garrett Wilson last week basically being interfered with in the end zone. Takes the one hand he has available,
Throws it
smacks the
up in the
ball
air.
to
Yeah.
himself on the ground and catches it on his back.
That was a good
Like that
catch.
fool's gonna eat regardless of what anybody's doing, what are the defenders doing, what the quarterback's doing. He just wants the ball. And
Mhm.
he still ended up with a very, very solid week in fantasy. It was 14.4, I think. And I was more than happy to get that from him after watching Rodgers go down. But man, I think that anybody who's going up against that Dallas defense, you either better have a game plan or your guys better be so on point that day because that is dangerous, dude.
They're scary good.
It's not, but you know what? It, that rivalry between them and the Giants, for that to be a Monday night game and a season
Mhm.
opener, that was a lot.
Mhm.
And I don't think it's every week going to be this extreme because you're going to play a lot of better offenses and a lot of better schemes. But dude, that was like, oh my God, man. When I saw all this happening, I was, I was blown away. It blew my mind
Mhm.
to keep watching it.
So I feel like Dotson's gonna go off, man, because like everybody who plays the Broncos, their second receiver just no one covers them. They
Yeah.
go off. So and that's been going on since last year, man. So
And we've seen, I mean, dude, we saw what Johan Dotson can do in the preseason. He didn't do very well week one. He just came away with 9 points. I got him on my bench. Um, I just think that I already know what I already know what Garrett Wilson's capable of. And I don't know if Sam Howell has the capability
I mean,
to
he's gonna
have
get
that day
sacked.
with Johan. And you know what, dude? I'm not dogging. I never dog the Broncos defense, dude.
I don't either, bro. But it just seems. I mean, I'll pull up the stats from last week. I mean, it's whoever they just focus so hard on the top receiver of each team, because Pat Surtain's over there. They're not throwing over to the other side. They're not throwing at Pat Surtain, bro, at
Yeah, well,
all.
I mean,
Sam Howell's not putting a football near Pat Surtain. So unless Washington's switching their receivers up on the sides that they're.
well, and that's
Then
another thing too, is that man, Washington's got kind of a tricky scheme because last week we didn't see very much of it, but dude, Antonio Gibson is very much a weapon, very much a weapon, and
what
he didn't
about
do very
Brian
much.
Robinson?
Well, yeah, I mean, but not. That's the thing is that these guys have the weapons on the
Mm-hmm.
field to be able to spread it out and make these things happen. But those are just dual threats. As far as wide receiver, as far as you're talking, if there's going to be anybody to start, I don't know. Terry McLaurin is just, dude, he's always been so inconsistent for me, and just a guy that I didn't like drafting at his ADP, and I kind of stayed away from. But this year, I had serious intrigue in Johan Dotson, and I think I'm saying his first name right, but
Jahan?
dude. It sucked, Johan. It's a rough one, but dude, I mean, we watched what Dallas's D did last week, and the Jets, they're down to their second string quarterback. I mean, I like the matchup that the Commanders and the Broncos have, and like you said, with the second receiver, I think that Dotson could have the better week than Wilson. But dude, I don't ever doubt Wilson to have that week.
I know, but I could see Wilson having a Drake London type week, not a goose egg. He's gonna catch 2 or 3 passes for sure, but
Yeah, it could be
he's
that
all they
week
got
where
right
it's like,
now. He's
yeah, 3
especially if
for
Brees
70.
Hall's hurt. If Brees Hall's hurt and he's not, if he's not even 75% and you're leaning on Dalvin Cook
I
and
mean, that's
he's
not a
only
bad
getting
guy
you
to lean on.
26. I mean, if he ramps it up, yeah, but they had the same amount of carries last week. What do you have, like
Well, that's the thing,
35
is
yards?
if Cook's going to get the start, he's going to be the 3-down guy. But that's another thing, though, is that, dude, you look and everybody tries to start out with the run game against the Cowboys, but you can't because you end up down 2 touchdowns and you're passing the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Sean Payton say that they're going to use Jaleel McLaughlin a lot this week. I wonder if that's going to help out with the run game.
Well, I feel like they tried to use him last week too. I mean, I hope it helps out, but I don't know. I feel like Williams is still right there too.
Yeah.
What
I
about
mean,
with Judy coming back? You think Wilson's going to have a big game with Judy coming back?
I
hope
hope
so.
he does. I mean, for
I
the love
hope
of
so.
God, the man needs to. If he doesn't, it's going to be a lot more controversy, dude, because he already had a sketchy enough first game.
But I mean, Cortland Sutton had a tutty last week, so hopefully he can build on that too. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably take Javonte Williams off the Broncos squad. That'd be about it in the flex spot.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he was projected at 11 week 1, and then this week I think he's projected at like 14.8. So I don't think you're alone in that. I think a lot of people think that what Javonte is going to do a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Especially as he gets. Go ahead, Chris.
He's going to need a couple games to get back to his normal self. Coming off the injury,
Well, not only that, P. Ryan's sitting back there, and he's just like, he wants to go in every play too, and he thinks he's going to be that guy. But
I feel like he didn't do a whole lot last week, though. I mean, it's definitely built around Javonte being the guy. Like, he's their dude. I mean, and if anything, McLaughlin will be second in line with how good he looked. He looked great enough to make it on the team, from nothing when we already were stacked at the position. So I don't know. P. Ryan is gonna have some shine for sure. That kid, he was a beast last year with Cincinnati, but I don't think
he's been a solid backup. Yeah,
he's more like Dalvin Cook right now, there for injury. You know?
One flex spot: Raheem versus New England, Zach Moss versus Houston, Traylon Burks versus Chicago, Tutu Atwell versus San Francisco. Come on, dude. Could you make this any more difficult? Jesus. That is a rough one, dude. 2-2, not a big enough sample size, but the opportunities there. San Francisco's,
San Francisco's
yeah, we
defense was
all know how tough that D is. And Traylon Burks, I don't think is going to do anything. I mean, Chicago D is the only upside to that one. Zach
mhm.
Moss, don't know how much work he's going to get versus Houston. I mean, isn't that um, Indianapolis? So what? Don't we got Deion Jackson in the mix there too? And I don't know, Raheem versus New England.
Does
I
Miami
would
even have a
probably
running
go.
game?
I would probably go either Raheem or Atwell. I don't know. I did. That's a hard one, dude. That's a hard one. Those are a lot of. That's deep league stuff there, boy.
I'd go with yeah.
I'm sweating Joe Burrow coming back too. What do you guys think? Joe Burrow's going to bounce back or what?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, come on, dude. Joe
Cool
Burrow.
Joe.
It's the Bengals, dude. I think week one fluke stuff. Dude, you guys are gonna watch, dude. You could say what you want about the Steelers too, but that week one against San Fran, that was just, dude, got kicked in the teeth. Watch him turn around and come back. Watch Pickens say that is not how I play football. And watch Pickens and Deontay Johnson and Najee and all these guys say I'm here to help too. That's just it was a bad week one, a bad game, bad environment, just all around. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And there's a lot of teams that had those week ones that you're going to see have a different week two.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How's that matchup with Tyreek Hill down in Miami? Are they got a good matchup this week? You think he's going to put up another 40 burger?
I don't know if it's going to be a 40 burger. I'd like to see it spread out more. But I know that weekly he's going to be a threat of 40 plus every week. I mean, obviously, dude, he guaranteed 2,000 receiving yards this season. He guaranteed it. And dude, to watch him go out in the routes that he's running and how fast he's running them for what season it is for him, I don't know, man. That boy's got a fire under his ass, and he is ready.
It seems like Tua throws the ball where he's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly, because he knows
they
he
got this like
can. I mean,
rhythm going on.
that's the benefit from practicing with a man like that. Can make you a next level quarterback because leading him changes the way you play, and that's awesome. And I mean, Jalen Waddle the same way. And dude, the committee they have in that backfield, tight end work, they got the weapons, man. They really have everything they need to do it. And they made the improvements on defense this season as well. So, the Dolphins have the tools and they have the players to be a more than a playoff contending team.
I mean, it goes how Tua lasts. If
Yeah. He's
Tua
got
can
to stay
avoid
healthy.
injury. Yeah,
He's
that's.
got
I
to
mean,
play a lot smarter than Allen's been playing. Dude,
What
to
do you guys?
watch Josh Allen, the way how many seasons is he in the NFL now? And he
what?
knows, dude, to watch the way that he still openly runs down that field without sliding and the situations that he puts himself in just to make a play. I respect it, but dude, you're going to get your ass hurt and then your team is going to suffer as a result. Slide, dude. I don't care. You already had 3 interceptions and a fumble in that game. What does it matter if you get that first down, dude?
Right.
Keep yourself healthy for week two. Use your brain, man. You're going to end up getting messed up, and it's going to be, you might never have the same career again. Just slide, dude.
What do you guys think of the Vikings? I mean, they're putting up big numbers and they're 0-2 right now.
They're missing
Well,
Dalvin Cook. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
yeah, that's
absolutely.
for sure. The run game's not the same. And, that just comes down to who you play,
But I mean, hold on. They're still getting points. Justin Jefferson's smashing right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Quite honestly,
Dude, look at
like
Hawkinson. I mean, geez, dude. That's the thing is that they're all
Cousins is
scoring
getting good
points.
points.
They're all scoring
Hawkinson,
points, but
yeah.
they're still losing games, is what
But
he's
that's how
saying.
they were last year too, though. They were what?
It's true. They
They were
really were.
11-0 in one-score games until the playoffs. Like their probability of winning those games were very, very low. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like they were dominating and shutting people out. They were just
No, and they
pulling
were
it out.
dude. Yeah, they were doing well at first, and then they'd have this lead, and then they blow it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how. But that's the thing, dude. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback, but could you imagine what that offense would do with a great quarterback?
Oh
Oh my
man.
God, dude.
Yeah, because
Like
no one's
Kirk
afraid of
Cousins
Kirk
is able to
Cousins.
look good because dude, I could look good if Justin Jefferson was my wide receiver. You know what I mean? And Cousins is a very talented man and and a very talented guy, and he's got more talented guys around him, dude. I mean, look at the addition of Jordan Addison, and then you got Hawkinson, and then, dude, even that backfield is still not, horrid.
It's not
But
bad. Once Madison kicks it up, they're a
yeah,
good team
well, I
for
mean, week
sure.
one, Madison had a receiving touchdown. He had 13.4 fantasy points. It was nice. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I
You
think
just couldn't
that
get it going.
yeah, they have the capability. It's just, it all depends on who that matchup is. You know what I mean? I thought I had Jem beat week one, dude. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's got the Cowboys D, and that matchup was the one that took me out, And not only did it take me out, it made him the number one scorer of the week with 140,
Yep. Shoot, I thought I had my guy beat in one of my other leagues, man. And I tell you, we were both at 56 points going, I think into the Jets game because all of our players were playing in that
Yeah.
game. And literally on the last play, the punt return, it caused I had Josh Allen and I had the Bills defense.
That
So in
hurt.
overtime, I should have won, either way it went. But
Right.
I mean,
You never
it all
know.
depends on matchups, man.
Yeah,
Matchups.
for sure. And you know what? Behind you, I think who was the second highest scorer? Was it me?
I think it was either you or Chris. I think Chris
I
got
think.
you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Chris got me by like 0.75. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
So it's
second in
like,
points.
everybody else in the league was super close, and then Force
I
Awakens C Dubs, which is Chris, over it. Hurts to lose Rogers. Great dad, by the way. Love it. Oh,
Yeah, you are.
yeah, dude. They've been so Estella woke up
hey,
and she had my phone when you were trying to get a hold of me, and she was like, "Oh, Dad, Gemini's calling you." I was like, "Oh, I got a show to do this morning," and now they've been sitting here waiting to get the phone back from me, but they're like pouring cereal around me, trying to say hi.
Hey, we won't keep them
Everything.
too much longer. What's up, guys?
Girls, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be today? The Broncos?
Yeah.
Are we saying let's
Yeah.
go Broncos?
Yeah.
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 What about
Let's
Monday
go
night?
Broncos.
What about Monday night? Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Love you, girls.
Heck
Let me-
yeah, man.
I
Let me
can't. It was
finish up my
crazy
show,
last week. Last week I was second in points, and I still had 3 big goose eggs too.
Ooh, he's rubbing it in.
No,
Rubbing it
seriously,
in.
like Burrow had 3 points, and then somebody else only had like 5 points. That was like
Stop, you're gonna
a
keep doing
huge
cereal.
shock.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you're not the only one, dude. I mean, a lot of people. It was crazy to see, but a lot of people didn't get the Kelsey was out, and I saw think Eric left Cooper Cup in too, or did he take him out? I can't remember.
He left. I think he took him out last minute, but I don't know what Eric's doing with his lineup, man. But I'll take it.
Not a lot of paying attention going on, but still, goose eggs were coming. Dude, the one that I did not expect was T. Higgins, dude. I thought, in that Cincinnati offense, these guys are at least going to get something going, at least 1 or 2 for 30 or something, but to have nothing, to have absolutely is just a goose egg is just, I mean, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
And
man.
yes, Traylon Burks is going to have a viable season, but a fantasy relevant season, I don't know, Stan. I don't know about that.
Hey guys, I gotta run.
Hey,
Thanks a lot.
no, thanks, Chris. Thanks for coming on.
Best of luck today, buddy.
Yeah, dude, it was a lot of fun. Let's do it again.
You're my matchup this week, so
yeah, I'm nervous. Trust me.
Don't be nervous, bud. You got a good air of confidence going into this season. You had a good draft. You had a good week 1.
Yeah.
This isn't like years past where I just
You got Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Yep. But I got
Tyreek
a
Hill
good
was
lineup
definitely.
too, and I've done some moving around, and I think it's going to be a fun battle, dude. And it's going to be
Yeah.
one that lasts all the way till Monday at 8:30.
Let's go.
All right, you guys have a good one. We'll chat later. All right.
Yes,
Later,
sir.
bud.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, dude, this
So,
is a crazy week going in for a lot of people, and people putting a lot of faith in the guys that they drafted. And I want to be the first one to tell you guys to have that faith. Please continue to have faith in the guys you drafted, because that week one was crazy, and I know injuries are rampant, and we know who to grab from the waiver wire this week. And Jem and I kind of went through it. You're going to want to grab Kelly. You're going to want to grab Algier for at least a bench stash. You're going to want to grab, at least put Bourne on the bench, at least put Boot on the bench. Grab these guys so in case they do go off again week 2, they're going to do it week 3. You don't have to worry about fighting for them this week.
yep.
Your Nakua, your Atwell. Who else do we got? I mean,
What about
Hawkinson's
Kyle
obviously.
Pitts?
Pitts?
Yeah.
I
Or,
think Pitts.
or is it
I think
Atlanta a
Pitts
stay
is
away
our.
team?
I think Pitts is already rostered in damn
I
near
think
every league. So he's already on somebody's bench. Whether they have the faith to start him or not, that is not. Dude, he's like Kittle for me, dude. I start Kittle every week, but every week I sit there and think to myself, well, this could be another, 4.5 point week. But then again, this could also be a 45-point week. So,
that's how I feel about Kadarius Toney, man.
well,
Like,
Cad Tony, we're not.
he had the drops, bro, but I'm
I
telling
got
you.
more faith in MVS and Sky Moore than
What?
I do Cad Tony.
Okay, we'll see this week with Kelsey back. We'll
Yeah,
see
well,
what you say about
yeah.
that.
You got the target vulture coming back, and you got the guy, dude. And then this is exactly what I wanted to see, is the 2-minute drill without Kelsey, and it fell apart. It fell apart. When Mahomes doesn't have Kelsey, when they're trying to get down there with that 2-minute drill, Tony blew it, and Kelsey's the guy that he normally depends on in that situation. And
That's
now that
true.
he's going to be back, I think everything's going to be, on the up and up. But oh man, I'm excited for the matchups this week. I'm excited for people to make their comebacks, and yeah, man,
2
I'm
Monday
just
night games, so that's 2 chances for people to have a comeback,
two,
on their
and
week. So
2 fantasy relevant ones as well. If you put your faith in any Steelers, it's the Browns and the Steelers, dude. This is one of those games where it's like, oh, neither of those teams, dude. When these two teams play each other in this division rivalry, things happen. Things
it's the
happen,
AFC
dude.
North, man. AFC North. You guys
Yeah,
you're like the SEC, man. You just beat up on each other,
yeah, dude. It's crazy and it's awesome and it's so much fun to watch. Even though that Cleveland Cincy week 1 matchup was a dud, but you still watch Cleveland do it.
I mean, Deshaun Watson wasn't necessarily at his best form either. It wasn't like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
and
know
he
they
still
beat
had a really
Cincy.
good game fantasy
Yeah.
wise too.
So
So yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
it's one of those you never know things. But oh man, I can't wait to get the game started today. I can't believe we're in week 2 already, because it seems like we were just drafting, and this is always how it goes. I get so impatient, and then the drafts come, and then here we are, and now here we are. We're already at week 2, and it's like, oh man, it's gonna go too fast. But I'm excited. I got all my lineup set. Did a lot of different thoughts for me this week, and a lot of crazy. Should I pull him from my bench and put him in my starting roster? Have faith in him while I can. Guys like Jamal Williams in New Orleans backfield. Like, is he going to bounce back and have a better week? Guys like Deion Jackson in the Colts backfield. Is he going to bounce back and have a better week? Or are they going to use one of these other guys that they got? Like Hall, they just pulled him up, and I think he already got hurt. And yeah, I saw that, Mike. Thank you. Yeah, Jones and Watson are officially inactive.
You know who I've been watching now? Who is it? I think it's Hayden Hurst.
Yeah,
Is that
for
Carolina's tight
Carolina,
end?
their tight
Bro,
end. I
got
got
an
him
eye on
starting.
him.
I got him
Do you?
starting in one of my sleeper leagues.
Yeah, because he's
Him
I
and Cole
mean,
Kmet. I got Cole
yeah, I mean,
Kmet.
Even Thielen, man, if you you got a bye week coming
Well,
up.
dude, I watched him take a header that put him
Did
in
he?
concussion protocol in the preseason that really scared me because of his age and
I
how
mean,
hard he's still going. And I really worry he's going to play himself so hard into an injury.
I just feel
But
like
I mean,
Carolina could
dude,
have some sleeper players, man. Because Bryce Young, he's about it,
oh,
bro. He's
oh yeah,
about it.
dude. Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
playmaking ability is there. Just like Sam's saying, Traylon Burks is going to, that offense, the weapons that are sitting there. I mean, they have the capability to be
hmm
able to do it. It's just a matter of if they're going to
if
do
they
it and
do
if
it
it's
or
going to be
when.
enough for you to eat.
Very true.
Hopkins and Andrews are officially in.
Oh, okay.
So
What
we
do you think
got
about
DeAndre
Hopkins?
Hopkins, and you know that Lamar will have Mark Andrews back. So that's
What you
a good sign.
is Hopkins a must start?
Yeah, yeah, he's a lineup lock. After that week 1, for sure. There's
What
a
about
lot.
Andrews?
Yeah, oh yeah. For where you drafted him, you got to start him, dude. You got to have that faith, man. That's what I'm saying. That's the name of this show today is have faith in the guys that you drafted, where you drafted them. And even if they had a week 1 or they were injured week 1, this week 2 is called redemption week. Have faith in you guys, and this is where you see if they don't do well in week 2 or if things persist or the problems persist or the quarterback troubles persist, then you start to make your options available. You start to pull guys from your bench. You start to make waiver, moves. That's
Yeah.
give them another chance in week 2 to surprise you. And if they let you down again, then make that decision.
I don't know, man. I'm just riding because I feel like in years past, I've been that guy that's been chasing them points. You see the shiny waiver wire pieces that picked up, 15, 18 points last game because nobody was
Well,
covering them and
Kelly is the
stuff.
one guy that I'm saying is a lineup lock off the wires, and that's it.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's all if you feel it in your guts. For guys like out of New England who you think are going to have the same kind of week, or those guys from LA that you think are going to have that same kind of week, but none of those guys are lineup locks for me. The only
hmm
lineup lock that I'm saying off the waiver wire is Kelly and maybe Algier as a flex. That's it. None of those guys are locks for me. All those guys are just, we're going to see if you can get lucky 2 weeks in a
hmm
row.
I
And not
like
a lot of
Algier,
people win the
bro.
lot. Not a lot of people win the lottery twice.
Well, Atlanta knows they're gonna have to run if they're gonna do
Well,
any
and
kind of
that's what I'm
any
saying.
kind of
The
damage. And
Chargers are run heavy offense, and
mhm,
the Atlanta Falcons are the number one run heavy offense. And we watched them both be top 7 last week. There's no reason it can't happen again. And dude, you know what? Last week Atlanta only ran 48 plays offensively, and they still had that kind of game on the ground.
that's
Like
why.
Bijan caught his, of course, but still Algier had 2 on the ground. Like, dude, they're gonna have so much more opportunity this week to run more plays and to get more done. And you're gonna see those guys. This is gonna be one of those committees that you can start both guys safely and feel okay about it.
Yeah,
I
I
want to
think
see a bounce back from a couple guys though. This week I really want to give a shout out to guys like T. Higgins, to Jalen Waddle, to those guys who, we put faith in our draft, and we saw have a really rough week 1, and it hurt to watch them there. But you got to keep them there week 2, guys. You got to keep them there week 2, and just know that they're going to be the guys you drafted them to be, the guys their quarterbacks know that they are. And,
nah. I
you
took
know,
Drake London out, bro. I'm not
Well,
putting him in this week.
Drake London. I mean, he's one of those guys where it's like,
He's good, bro. He'll probably get like 4 points this week.
yeah, I
Just
think
chance.
it's gonna be. Yeah, I mean that's one guy I didn't draft in any league.
I mean, I don't know though. My whole thing is, man, I just hope I have like 1 to 2 solid like position players that I know are gonna get me points in the high teens,
Yeah,
to up to low 20s. I hope that I have a quarterback that'll keep me in the high teens. But everyone else, man, I'm like, there's gonna be some hits, some 4 points, 7
Yeah.
points here,
Yeah.
8 points there.
Hey man,
You
the
know?
more that people are like that with their rosters, is the happier people are going to be, because that's just the reality of weekly. Unless you're some guru and you're going to have a guy that has less than 10 points, But if unless you had the best draft and you had the best waiver pick, and now you're consistently scoring 130 plus a week, it's going to be that way. It's
Mm-hmm.
nice to keep your expectations in check, but it's also good to have faith in your gut and your guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. You know who you're gonna ride with. It's like that's what I'm saying. I know who's gonna get me points. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then I can
Okay.
tinker around with everyone else. But like, it'd be nice to get solid double digits across the board. But I have yet to
Oh
see
my
that.
God. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to score 130 plus every week?
Right? Exactly. So
That's
I mean, that's
that's
what I'm
how
gonna
you
do in
win.
our league. That's what I'm doing in our league. So, and guys, you know what I mean? Thanks for watching us. We're not leaving yet. I'm just saying this is Shady Sports Fantasy Reports. For those of you that have been sticking with us, it's been live today, man. That's good. Sorry we
Yeah, I
haven't,
love it.
we meant to jump on before Thursday, but I mean, if you didn't know who to play Thursday night with that game going on,
I mean,
you're
yeah,
not
the
gonna know who to
locks
play.
were the locks, and that's
Yeah.
just how that is.
There were no question marks about anyone. I mean, freaking
The
what's his
fact that
name?
AJ Brown had a bad game is not a sign of, oh my God, it's not going to be. It's just, the targets went to Smith. The Eagles had to do what they had to do
No,
when they
AJ
had to do
Brown
it.
actually had one more target than Smith.
Yeah, but
Smith
you know what
just
I'm saying.
took his
Points wise.
targets to the house. He just took his catches, for more yards. He had 4 catches for like 130 yards. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like AJ
Smith
Brown
had the
wasn't getting
touchdown.
it. Yeah, Smith had the touchdown. That was it. So, and I mean, that's how it's gonna be. Like, unfortunately, like one of those
And
guys
I
is
did
gonna
not
get.
think that Philly was going to rely that heavily on the run game either.
That's what everybody was yelling at them last year to do. Use the run
Yep.
game. Last year, that was their fault, is they didn't use the run game. And it's good to see them, fall into form to where they know, like, okay, well,
Well,
hell, even
Swift,
with,
yeah.
even with a backup, we're coming through and we're charging. So
Well, I mean, Swift, dude, Swift is not a backup, dude. Swift was the Detroit Lions 3-down back, and when he
true.
was a fantasy starter every week, and now he's showing like, hey, guess what? I'm in Philly. I got a good offensive line. Look what I can do,
And I think the Browns started that, man. The Browns started that when they signed friggin' what's his name from Kansas City. And then teams started seeing like, oh shit, you can take a starter running back and stash him on your bench. And
Right. They might not like him very much, but yeah, I mean, when they get their go, they go,
yeah, and that's the thing about Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook. I mean, shoot, honestly, the Jets could come out and run all over Dallas. The Jets have a solid defense too. They're gonna shut Dak down. If Dak plays like he played last week, Dallas is gonna get shut down. So I mean,
Pollard, dude, Pollard is, oh my God, man, that boy is so good. And it's so good to watch him have the week one he had. Dude, he still had 2 touchdowns in a game where, the defense and the special teams was doing everything. Tony Pollard still had 2 touchdowns for their offense, So,
mhm,
I mean, Dak's got him as a weapon. You don't have to worry about Zeke stealing touches. And
true.
CeeDee Lamb just looks like he's got his hands about him this season. He's not looking fumbly bumbly like the CeeDee Lamb that I was used to on my rosters. And yeah, I mean, who else? Don't they have? They have Brandon Cooks, or is that or he go? No, yeah, no, I don't think they have. Do they?
You're asking me Dallas's roster.
Yeah,
This
I
how it
don't.
goes every season, man. Everybody's like Dallas Cowboys, pick up
Yeah,
Cowboys, and
do they
then
have Brandon Cooks now, or did he go to?
hold on. Yeah, they got Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, see, everybody's wondering if he is going to be that guy.
They still got Gallup too.
Yeah, but I think Gallup's injured right now, isn't he?
I don't know, man.
I think he is. But either way, yeah.
No, he's active.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So they're coming to play today, man. They're coming to play to, you know what I mean? And they're looking at the Jets. Jets build up their whole season around Aaron Rodgers coming in, and now they had to change everything on the fly, after that first
Hey man,
week. So
I keep on telling people this. It's like, you know, dude, if there was a situation where, you know, Rodgers didn't get hurt in that game and they had like the best 4 games ever and then he got hurt and then they had to readjust. I'm saying, dude, at least that happened in the first game. Now they know what the issue is. They know who their starter is. They can get back to the practice field. They can get a scheme together. They can put the
well, at
weapons
least
to
they
work
kept
where
Zach
they know,
Wilson.
and they can get back to it with what they have.
At least they kept Zach Wilson, and Robert Saleh said all the right things about Zach Wilson when they
For
picked up
sure.
Aaron Rodgers and just kind of threw him in the dumpster. So, I mean, that kid is like a young Aaron Rodgers for sure. He was just thrown into the
He's just
fire.
a little bit bigger bodied and a little slower on his feet, and where
His
Rodgers
throwing
was when he
motion.
was at the rookie level. But dude, I mean, that kid's got a cannon. He's on point. He runs a solid offense. He knows he's got the eye. He knows when to throw it away. He knows when to slide. He knows to protect the football.
And he knows the offense.
Yeah, and he's not like one of these guys who's like a turnover maniac. You know what I mean? He's not a solid streamer in fantasy, but he's a guy that I like to get, Garrett Wilson the football, a guy that I like, running that split backfield because, now I think they'll be a little heavier on the run, which benefits anybody who has Cook or Hall.
Let me ask you this though, but I'm saying Jets almost made the playoffs last season, man. What is it going to take for you to start looking at Zach Wilson? You know what I mean? Like he has a much better receiving squad this year, obviously a much better backfield. Like what is he going to have to do, for people to start saying, hey, maybe that's a waiver wire pickup right there. Maybe that's a stash guy, or maybe look towards next season.
I think he's going to have to be, maybe a guy who, when they get to the red zone, if they're not giving it to Cook or Hall, maybe he's just got to say, hey, I want to run this in. He's got to be a guy who gets red zone touchdowns. He's also got to be a guy who has a couple games with north of 300 passing yards and games with 2+ passing touchdowns.
Gotcha.
For sure.
Yeah, man. Anything else you want to touch on? What do you?
You know what? I wish that I had. I feel for the people who drafted Rodgers too.
That's
Sam,
their
and
fault for drafting Aaron
it's horrid,
Rodgers,
man.
and
Not only that, dude. I feel for the people who have, like guys like who have Garrett Wilson, or
that's because you have
or
him.
guys who have, But still, though, dude, I know people who drafted him in the first round, based on the fact that Aaron Rodgers was his quarterback. He's a first round pick. And now, it just changes things a lot. It changes ADP now. Just the same way that everybody knew that when Jonathan Taylor wasn't going to be playing until week 5 and he didn't have a deal, instead of going week 1 when he was months before, he was sitting there until, Jesus, dude, in some cases, the 5th, 6th, 7th round. You know what I mean? And then
But that's football. That's what makes fantasy football fun, though. Is we don't have
what I'm saying, dude.
over
There's
it.
so many guys in some of my sleeper leagues that, oh my god, I got Cooper Kupp and I used my first round pick on him and he got hurt in week 1. It's like, oh my god, dude. If I got to sit here and listen to this crap, dude, yeah, guess what? Kelsey's out week 1 too. He's a first round pick. This happens, dude. When this happens, you don't sit there and whine about it. This is supposed to be fun. You make a pick off your bench or you make a pick off the waiver wire, and who knows, dude? That guy might go in and do better than he would have done the week prior.
Right? I mean, if you know what you're doing, your team is good enough. You know what I mean, to be able to not have to replace one person's points. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I get it. If you got obviously a guy like Kelsey, a guy like Joe Burrow, you're expecting these guys to get you upper 20s. You know what I mean? And
that's
you're
real.
looking for those points, but I mean, it doesn't matter, man. It's fantasy football. Have a backup
and that's
plan.
it. And you know what? At the end of the day, dude, this means a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of people do start to get a little bit of. But dude, think about the main reason why we all started playing fantasy football, guys, is because it's so much fun, and
So
because
much
our
fun.
leagues are with our homies, and it's because we have that knowledge, or we think we know that week who that guy's going to be and what he's going to do. Just keep that faith in yourself and your roster, man, and you guys are going to be all right.
It's
Trust me.
all speculation. Ain't none of us sitting here in front of the players with notebooks. You know what I mean? Even if you're, even guys that do have access to the teams, they still don't, necessarily
Yeah,
have all the
nobody has
information.
Marty McFly's Sports Almanac from
Yeah.
1984.
We're just out here doing what and I mean, for me personally, it helps me to watch the games. I'm watching
And
teams
that's,
other than like the
dude,
Broncos or the
yeah, it makes
Buccaneers.
you a fan of everybody, and it
Yep.
makes you want to get every game, dude. Like, you know what? I was so happy last week. For some reason, I had a mistake come through, and I wasn't getting the Broncos game. I was getting the Chargers game. And I had Herbert, and I had a couple other guys, and I had the IDP player on there. And then all of a sudden, they fixed it, like in the middle of the or just after halftime, they fixed it. And I was like, man, I don't want to watch the Broncos game. I was like, I was stoked to be getting the Chargers game. And, but I actually got the Steelers game last week, and I'll get it again this week because it's Monday night. So it'll be good to see my squad too. And you know what, man? It's all good fun to bag on the Donkeys because I live here in Denver and all my friends are Donkeys fans, and that's why I do it. But dude, I gotta say, like, dude, I want to see the Broncos have a turnaround season. I want to have them show the capability everybody thought they were going to have when Russell first came in. And, they thought that they were going to be at least number 2 behind Kansas City in the division. So I don't want to
I want
dog
to
on
see the
Denver. I want to see Denver do well.
I
There's
want to
so
see the
many
Broncos
guys
be
that I
better than
like.
CU.
Yeah, I just want to see them do well, So, yeah, no. Other than that, I think we've touched base on some good things and answered some good questions, guys. If you have any questions you want to ask us pertaining to trades, spots in your draft, or spots in your roster, um, streamers, waiver wire, injury replacements, anything like that, please drop a comment here. Message us on Facebook. Just make sure you hit that like button. This is Shady Sports Network Fantasy Report. We are going to try to come to you guys 2 times a week. And even when we struggle to get on, we're going to try and get on Sunday morning to touch on what we can. I'm going DJ Moore this week, Mike. I'm going
Really?
DJ. Yeah, because Mike Williams gets hurt too much, dude. He got hurt last week, late on the field, got up, still didn't have any type of better game. I think that this week Darnell Mooney and DJ Moore and Justin Fields are going to have a great offensive day.
I don't draft Chargers players anymore.
Uh,
Last season, they hurt me.
Well, yeah,
Keenan
Keenan Allen and Mike Williams had a really rough injury-prone season, and now Mike Williams, the first game, dude, he stayed laying on the field, and then he hobbled off, and then, and I had him on my roster, and then now he's sitting on my bench.
Yeah, I tried to stay away from teammates, but I had to get AJ Brown and DeAndre Smith.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's just like taking Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. You know what I mean? Those are guys that you like. Yeah, okay, that's how it's going to be.
And that's the joy behind it, though. I mean, not to, I know we're trying to finish it up, but I mean, you get these players, you know what I mean, knowing that, hey, they're probably going to get hurt, and they're probably going to let me down. But if they don't, it's going to be amazing.
And I'm going to get to that championship.
And that's what it comes down to. That's what we get our worth from it. We do get those bragging rights, or in some, cases, money or prizes or whatever it may be. So thank you guys for, rocking with us. We're going to bring you, as many updates as we can. We'll try to stay on top of it for sure. And stick with your questions. Just talk, like Shani said, it's all speculation. We're all having fun here. So,
we'll give you the best advice and the best opinion that we possibly can going on gut. I mean,
probably the worst. Who knows? Who cares? I mean, we're here. This is what we're doing. I mean, Sean is going to give you some great information. I'll probably give you some wrong shit. So don't listen to me. Nah, but thank you guys.
I can tell you that I try my best. I've won a couple championships, more than a couple, and You know, the reason I get where I get is because I follow my gut and I trust my guys. And that's why that is the best possible advice that I can give to anybody. But yeah, like Jem said, man, hit us up. Let us know. Hit that like button. Please subscribe. The Shady Sports Network is amazing, guys. This fantasy report isn't even the tip of what these guys do over there with every aspect of sports in general. Sam and everything that these guys do, it's amazing. I am so grateful to be a part of this network and to bring you the fantasy report for them. But you know, dude, take a look at what these guys have to offer besides us, and it'll blow you away. The interviews, just you know, the things that they cover. You know, you can just tell how much love there is, and that's why it's a great organization to be a part of. So please, like I said, subscribe, like, ask us any questions you like, hit us up on Facebook. You know, we'll always have this on YouTube. And yeah, Jem and I will bring you another show before you know it.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys, thanks for rocking with us. Hopefully the games are good today.
Best
Have a
of
good
luck
day.
in week 2.